Now, the United States could be facing its worst oil spill disaster ever at an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, NDTV Sarah Jacob was embedded with the U.S. Coast Guard and flew over the source of the oil spill to bring you these exclusive pictures of the environmental disaster unfolding below.
From the air, it almost looks pretty, but it's a deceptive beauty, the vast Gulf of Mexico coated with millions of gallons of crude oil.
At 1,500 feet over ground zero, the images of the massive and still uncontrollable oil spill is overpowering and heartbreaking. But the first reaction is that of smell, the smell of oil that's in the air.
Instead of a black sludgy texture, surprisingly the oil slick is rust orange, almost blood red, as if a giant artery has been sliced, its contents forming jarring, ugly scars on the smooth surface of the Gulf.
The day after the rig sank, it was pretty devastating to see that much oil out in the water already. And now to see it, it's definitely gotten thicker and is spread out in a larger area.
Over the past 3 weeks, planes have airdropped over 500,000 gallons of chemical dispersants to break up the globs of oil.
It is really a difficult choice of two outcomes. We know the crude oil is toxic, and we want to remove it as quickly as possible. At the same time, we want to minimize the use of these dispersants because those are also chemicals. But we feel right now that the most prudent choice is to allow the use of these dispersants to minimize the impact of the crude oil and to prevent as much of it as possible from coming on shore.
Carried along by the wind and the currents, this giant oil slick is heading to the U.S. coastline, bringing with it the threat of unpredictable consequences to the ecosystem and the livelihoods of all those who depend on it. The worst may be yet to come. In Louisiana, Sarah Jacob, NDTV.
Tuba.com